We are off mute. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
All right, I'd like to call the December 14th Village Board meeting to order. Before we kick it off, a couple of housekeeping items. Again, on December 11th of 2020, Governor Pritzker again declared pursuant to Section 7 of the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act 20 ILCS 3305/7 that a disaster exists in Illinois as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. As such, per SB 2135 recently passed by the General Assembly, I, as Mayor of Lemont, in accordance with the aforementioned declaration of emergency by the governor, finds that it is not practical or prudent to have an in-person meeting tonight. Additionally, for the record, this meeting is being conducted via the Zoom virtual platform. Notice of the same was given to the public, and at least one person, actually three of us in this case, George, Village Administrator, as well as Charlene, we are present at Village Hall as required by the newly amended act. With that being said, before we start, would you please stand and join for the Pledge Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, George, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And you went through some of the procedural requirements of the meeting. Just to remind folks, we're going to do another all virtual village board meeting due to Governor Pritzker's emergency declarations, as the mayor mentioned. There are a couple opportunities for public comment as usual. You can comment before the meeting via email or letter, or you can give us a call. I did not receive any public comment through those mediums before the meeting. You can view the meeting in real time, which you guys are right now, but you can also catch the meeting after the fact in our village's agenda center. There will be an opportunity to participate later on in the meeting. There's one section in which we designate for public comment. That's the audience participation section. That'll be at the end of the meeting. And I will queue up some directions at that point as well. With that, Mr. Mayor, I will turn it back over to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, George. We have quite a lengthy consent agenda, so bear with me for the next couple minutes as I read through this. But before we do that, let's start with the roll call, please, Charlene.
This evening, we'll be starting with Trustee Snigowski.
Here.
Stapleton.
Here.
Kittredge.
Here.
Kwasniewski.
Here.
Maher.
Here.
McClafferty.
Here.
Okay.
Thanks, Charlene. Okay, here we go. Consent agenda consists of the following. We have the approval of minutes for the November 9th Village Board meeting, the November 16th Village Board Committee of the Whole meeting, as well as the December 4th Special Village Board meeting. In addition, we have levying assessment of taxes for the Village of Lemont, Cook, Will, and DuPage counties in Illinois for the current fiscal year commencing on May 1st, 2020 and ending on April 30th, 2021. We have an ordinance O-74-20 abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2020 to pay debt service on $3.4 million of general obligation bonds, Series 2012C, which is alternate revenue source for the Village of Lemont and Cook, DuPage, and Will counties of Illinois. We have an ordinance O-75-20 abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2020 to pay debt services on $955,000 of general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2014A alternate revenue source, and $960,000 of taxable general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2014B alternate revenue source for the Village of Lemont and the counties Cook, DuPage, and Will counties of Illinois. Continuing on, we have an ordinance O-76-20 abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2020 to pay debt service on $5.58 million of general obligation bonds, which is waterworks and sewerage alternate revenue source. Series 2015A, and 2.69 million of general obligation refunding bonds, again, alternate revenue source. We have Series 2015B for 1.18 million general obligation refunding bonds, again, alternate revenue source, as well as Series 2015C of the Village of Lemont, Cook, DePage, and Will counties in Illinois. We have another abatement for the ordinance O-77-20, abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2020 to pay debt service on 4.16 million of general obligation refunding bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2017A, and 1.94 million of general obligation refunding bonds. We have Series 2017B, and 890,000 of general obligation refunding bonds, again, alternate revenue source. We have Series 2017C of the Village of Lemont, Cook, DePage, and Will counties in Illinois. Another abatement is for the ordinance of O-7-78-20, abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2020 to pay debt service on 5.25 million of general obligation refunding bonds. These are waterworks and sewerage alternate revenue source, Series 2019A, and 3.6 million of taxable general obligation refunding bonds, which again are alternate revenue source, Series 2019B, and 5.2 million for general obligation bonds. For waterworks and sewerage alternate revenue source, we have Series 2019C, Village of Lemont, Cook, DePage, and Will counties in Illinois. The last abatement is for ordinance O-79-20, abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2020 to pay debt service on 2.625 million of general refunding bonds. Again, an alternative revenue source, Series 2020, Village of Lemont in Cook, DePage, and Will counties in Illinois. We have an ordinance, this O-80-20, establishing a street and bridge tax. We'll talk more about that. Again, these are not new taxes. We received a couple of calls on this, but we'll expand on this. We have an ordinance O-81-20, establishing a street lighting tax. Again, this is not a new tax. These are items that we address on an annual basis. We have an ordinance O-82-20, amending Title 9, Chapter 9.08, establishing additional fines for false alarm billing and fees for excessive call responses by the police department. We have an ordinance O-83-20, adopting changes to the personnel policy manual. We have a resolution R-55-20, authorizing the Liquor Control Commission to rebate certain license fees. We have a resolution R-56-20, approving a proposal for FirstNet for priority cell phone service. We have a resolution R-57-20, authorizing upgrades to supervisory control and data acquisition system known as SCADA. We have a resolution R-58-20, authorizing a reduction of a letter of credit for the Seven Oaks subdivision. And lastly, letter Q, resolution R-59-20, approving custodian services proposal from Alpha Building Maintenance Services, Inc. That was a mouthful, but we need a motion, please.
So moved, Snagowski.
We have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Stapleton, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great, thanks, guys. To approve the consent agenda. George, do you have anything to add on
Yeah,
this?
thank you, Mr. Mayor, and well done again. The consent agenda is typically reserved for routine items, as we have during most board meetings, of procurement that fall within budget, minor code updates, other items that we've discussed extensively at committee meetings, or just minor cleanup items. For December, though, our typical consent agenda is a lot longer. There's a lot of financial items. Two things you'll see: all of our bond abatements, and we go through this periodically, but every December, the board acts on all of our outstanding bonds to ensure that the taxes get abated. What that means is all of our debt for the village is alternative revenue source debt, which means that while property tax is pledged, there's an alternate revenue stream that's also pledged to pay back the bonds so that the property tax does not get levied for the bonds. And typically it's water and sewer out of our utility fund. But it's also sales tax in some regards, income tax. So these are important ordinances, although they're routine. By abating them, the taxes to pay back the bonds are not arriving on your tax bill. So those items will be approved here tonight. They'll be recorded with the county. Cook County graciously during the pandemic here is going to allow these to be filed electronically. Maybe that'll be an ongoing thing for the future. But those are important ordinances. The other two items, three items, I believe, are regarding levying of taxes. Those are standard. Every December, we levy our property tax levy. And we've had multiple public hearings on and discussions. There's also two street and bridge and or a bridge tax, and then also street lighting. Those are not new taxes, as the mayor mentioned. Those are acted on every December. They go in conjunction with the levy rather than put them all together. They're separated with our overall property tax levy. So nothing new there. And if there's anything else, Mr. Mayor, I can address, or have our finance director as well.
I think that does it for me. Do we have any questions or comments from any of the trustees?
Yeah, I'd like to try one more on that, John, as I usually do. With the abatements, I'd like to say that in general, when we plan and borrow money, it is our intent to pay back those loans from income generated by the utility itself. If something were to go wrong, what happens is your property taxes are the backup support for that refinancing. What December does is abate those taxes that are placed on your property. That what it means is that the utility did in fact meet the obligation, which is what our plan was. So you don't need to be concerned as long as you hear the word abatement in there. But if you don't, then it means something went wrong. And then we got to talk about applying more to the property tax. So that's in general how it works.
No, thanks, Rick. And yeah, and just to expand on that again, we live within our budget. We do not pass these, bond costs as additional real estate taxes. So we live within our budget each year, and we pay it out of the general fund for the for at least everything except the sewer. Am I correct on that, Chris?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I also want to say those, the two that you said was, people had questions on the road, the street lighting and the road and bridge. Those dollar amounts, we've historically always levied for them, but when we discuss it, and it's a part of actually the entire dollar amount that we are levying, the 3.8. So we're not adding anything, like George had said, that is included in the first ordinance of the levy. But according to state statute, we have to, every single year, we have to add those, update those ordinances.
Thanks, Chris. All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Roll call, please, to approve.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. All right, moving on, we have the mayor's report. If you're keeping score at home, which many of you are, it's tough to do these days, but we are now continue to be in tier 3 under phase 4. And basically, this happened on November 20th. And again, this was implemented to at the state level to suppress the spread of the virus and ensure our hospitals do not become overrun. This tier 3 in phase 4 limits gatherings and encourages people to stay at home to the greatest extent possible and still permits, some businesses and industries to remain open, albeit at reduced capacities with, proper safety measures in place. You can find Tier 3 mitigation requirements at coronavirus.illinois.gov. Also, as many of you are well aware, there's great news coming out about the distribution of the vaccine. This will change on a daily, if not hourly basis, as far as new news coming out, as far as the distribution of this and how it will be distributed within our state. Again, this is obviously good news, and hopefully this gets us closer to some state of normalcy. But again, great news. And with that being said, just real quick, Mike Stillman, do you want to add anything to that? Do you have anything else to add regarding our current Phase 4, Tier 3?
I do not, Mayor, other than we're on hold until we can determine, until the governor determines when, if we move down, and we're close to it in suburban Cook, but we're not there yet. But there are parts of the state that are below the threshold, and he's essentially said it's going to be on hold, and it's uncertain when the mitigation will again begin.
Great, thanks. And more news will come out about the vaccine
Chief
distribution.
Maton has a report later on in the agenda.
Okay, great, thanks. Chief, I'll let you, I won't steal your thunder here. I'll let you comment on that during your section. Also, if you've not taken a drive or walk into our downtown, which is referred to as Lighting Up Lemont, you definitely need to do that during this holiday season. Ralph and Public Works, they've done a great job. It looks awesome, beautiful. It's illuminated with lighting displays, including Candy Cane Lane, which is on Front Street. We have North Pole on Main and Stevens Streets, and our shimmering Christmas tree is down by Nick's Tavern. We moved that a little bit farther west this year. So again, it's a great place. Encourage everyone to get out. If you haven't done any holiday photos, it's a great place to take some pictures. Again, many thanks goes to our Downtown Merchants Alliance sponsorship, along with the Village of Lemont, and also a huge shout out to Artistic Holiday Designs, which is located right here in Lemont, and that is the company that makes these fabulous displays. So again, thanks to Artistic Holiday Designs, thanks to our Downtown Merchants Alliance, and again, thanks, Ralph, to you and your crew. You guys did an awesome job. Also, we cannot encourage you enough to shop local for your holiday shopping. We have a lot of unique family-owned shops. And again, please remember, what you spend in Lemont stays in Lemont. Please visit LemontDowntown.com and check out the Lemont Downtown Holiday Gift Guide. And don't forget to play the Holiday Scramble game for a chance to win some gift cards. Again, visit LemontDowntown.com for more information. We also have some very exciting news. The Forge, which opened up obviously in the Lemont Quarries this past summer. They have an ice skating rink for this winter season. So please get out there and enjoy the Forge even in the wintertime. Please visit their website for registration for family and open skate times at forgeparks.com. They also have a lot of fun events lined up throughout the winter season. Also visit our website, lemont.il.us/holiday, as there are some, more great things to do around town during this holiday season. And with that being said, on behalf of the entire board, we wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And this is our last board meeting of the year. So we wish everyone a great 2021. I don't think I'm going to go out on the limb, but I think 2021 might be a little bit better than 2020. So again, we wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. With that being said, we're going to move on. Charlene, do you want to take over our ordinances, please?
Sure. The first one this evening would be ordinance O-84-20. And this is amending the Title 17 of the Lemont Municipal Code. The Lemont Unified Development Ordinance of 2008.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved, McClafferty. Second, Maher.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Maher. Mark, are you going to take this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. As noted, this is a UDO amendment. It's specifically related to certain uses in our use table, specifically uses in the B3 arterial commercial district and the B4 commercial recreation district. Generally, the intent is to sort of align, go through the use table and we were proposing a few adjustments to encourage more retail in the B3 district and recreation in the B4 district. This item was discussed at the December 2nd Planning and Zoning Commission meeting with unanimous approval. A couple notes with this, what was discussed at the PZC, two things. One, campground use, we've removed from this ordinance, so it will remain a special use in the B4 district. Additionally, contractor offices was something that upon further review, we felt required some further examination. There's other aspects of the code with some additional regulations relating to them. So we thought it best to pump the brakes on that one. So that is also not included in these in the ordinance that's before you this evening. We have a number of other UDO amendments that are currently in the process of being discussed with the PZC. So that's something that will continue to happen in January. That's all I have. If there's any questions, be happy to answer.
Thanks, Mark, and want to thank you and your staff and the planning and zoning. Again, they do a great job, and obviously we've made some strides over the last few years, as we've done every year before that, as far as trying to keep our UDO code up to speed. So with that being said, any other questions or comments by the trustees? Okay, roll call, please.
Thank you. Stigowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item, if passed this evening, is another ordinance, ordinance O-85-20. And this is approving the final planned unit development for the townhomes at Riley's Meadows subdivision.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second, McClafferty.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Mark, are you taking this as well?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this item is the Riley's Meadow development, a 20-unit single-family attached project on 127th Street. The preliminary plan unit development, as well as the annexation and zoning, were approved in September. This item is, this specific ordinance is for the final PUD. It was discussed at the November 4th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and staff and the PZC have made a recommendation that the PUD is in substantial conformance with the preliminary PUD. And this item was also discussed at the November 16th Committee of the Whole meeting. Staff is recommending approval, and again, more than happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Mark. Any questions or comments by the trustees? Okay, roll call, please.
Stigowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next ordinance this evening is O-86-20. And this is of the Village of Lemont, Cook, Will, and DuPage Counties, Illinois, approving a redevelopment agreement for the St. James Apartments project, which is located in the Village of Lemont Transit Orientated Development, known as the TOD, Tax Increment Financing District.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved, McClafferty.
Second, Snagowski.
Okay, motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Stegowski. Jason, are you taking this?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Board. This item here is a redevelopment agreement with Lotus Design Group or St. James LLC. We'd first discussed potential for a TIF incentive for St. James in July and followed up in August, where we're directed to pursue a pay-as-you-go TIF incentive. What that means is the property owner is rebated the incremental portion of their property taxes over the life of a TIF agreement and not to exceed a maximum amount. And in this instance, the village does hold back funds for school and park, but should the schools and parks not claim any students at the development, those would also be available to the developer. Any questions? I'm happy to answer them. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Jason. Any questions or comments for Jason?
Yeah, I just want to clarify. I think it's schools and library, not parks, Jason.
You are absolutely right. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Good catch, Dave. Any other comments or questions for Jason? Okay, roll call, please.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
No.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item this evening will be a resolution, R-60-20, and this is approving the final plat for the townhomes at Riley's Meadows subdivision.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved, McClafferty.
Second, Stapleton.
Okay, motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Stapleton. Mark, anything to add on the resolution, please?
Just to note specifically, the resolution approves the actual subdivision plat, whereas the two items ago was approving the zoning, if you will, with the final PUD. So this approves the actual plat that will get recorded. That's all.
Thanks, Mark. Any other questions or comments for Mark? Okay, roll call, please.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item, if passed this evening, would be R-61-20, and this is approving a business district improvement grants for the November 2020 cycle in Lemont, Illinois.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved, Snagowski.
Second, McClafferty.
Okay, motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Jason?
Thank you again, Mayor. Nice to go out and end the year on some good news here. In October, we reviewed the village's finances and were able to extend the business district improvement grants, which were budgeted for this fiscal year, but we held off. So thank you, Chris, and to everybody for allowing these to go out. We got them out quickly and are excited to announce we have 12 businesses that we're proposing approval for business district grants. 10 of them are downtown and 2 of them are uptown. It's an exciting mix of projects, several of them over $100,000 in investment. One of them over $1 million in investment. You could probably guess it's the big stone one at Main and Stevens Street. So we're able to give everybody a grant this time around by bringing in some additional CARES money that was available. And because the uptown grants were under applied for, we were able to take some of the money budgeted for the Uptown grants and apply them village-wide. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Jason, you want to just comment on the CARES money and where that came from and the source of funding for that?
Yeah, the CARES money came from Cook County, from the CARES Act. We initially pledged money through the general fund to do $5,000 grants, and we had about 20 allocated, and maybe 10 or so have already been paid, and a few are in the pipeline. So there were just a little bit left over there that we are going to put towards this grant program.
Great, thanks. Go ahead, George.
No, Rick has his hand up.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I just had one question, just to clarify a little bit, Jason. Were all the grants reimbursements? I know we talked about that with some of the CARES grant monies. Are they all being handled that way?
Yeah, we're reimbursing after work is finished. Uniquely this year, we did allow work that was begun after May 1st to qualify. We did that because there are several developments in sort of the pipeline that were waiting for the grants. It was in the budget. And so we did allow that exception this year. But
Okay.
we don't pay anything until they send us an invoice. That's true for the CARES grants as well as for this one.
That's what I meant, that last part. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Great, thanks. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, this is Trustee Maher. I have a
Go ahead, Dave.
comment. I sent a message in earlier today. I was questioning using the CARES money for this program. I had asked if we could leave that money set aside. I support the program and everything that's on it. CARES money to me is COVID money, and I feel like we should be keeping it for that to be able to leverage it the rest of this year. So I support everything but using CARES money to fund some of these programs. And that was a message I sent off to staff earlier today.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, roll call, please.
Okay, Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
yes,
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
No.
McClafferty,
I'm going to abstain.
abstain.
Okay, motion approved.
4. That's all I have this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, great. All right, thanks, Charlene, appreciate it. All right, next up, Mike, do we have anything for the village attorney report?
Well, other than the kind of piggyback on what you said, it's been certainly a challenging year, and 2021 will have to be better. It's been a challenging year on the legal side too, with all the COVID issues, and it seems like it changes every day, and it's been a pleasure working with everyone in the village as we've adapted to that. But other than that, I just would like to wish everyone a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2021. Thank
All
you.
right. Sounds good, Mike, thanks. George, village administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, as you mentioned, the last village board meeting, voting meeting of the year. We will have a committee of the whole meeting next Monday. That'll be on Zoom as well. And I want to thank everybody for all their diligence on attending the Zoom meetings. I know that there's some advantages, but there certainly makes it difficult to run meetings like we typically would. So, but just want to thank everybody for all their cooperation. As Chief's going to have some information later on under his report. Obviously, the vaccine is on its way, maybe some light at the end of the tunnel. Still undetermined if we'll be able to get together anytime in January, February, but I think it's safe to say in 2021, we'll try to find a way to reconvene and still try to incorporate some technology where maybe more people could participate. But last voting meeting of the year, again, just want to thank everybody, staff, board, for all their hard work, and look forward to 2021.
Great, thanks, George. Okay, any board reports? All right, next up, staff reports. Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know everybody's seen the media in the last few days, and it's exciting that the FDA approved the first vaccine. Those arrived in Illinois today, and I just wanted to give a little bit of a brief about the IDPH plan. Friday, the Illinois Department of Public Health released their vaccine distribution plan. You can get that on the department website tomorrow. We'll put that up there. But just briefly, there's 109,000 doses that came into Illinois this week, and it doesn't seem like that many. But 24,000 went to Chicago, and 86,000 went to the 50 counties who had the most deaths per population. But next week, they're anticipating another 250,000 doses. The week after that, they're anticipating 300,000 doses into Illinois. And if the Moderna vaccine is approved this week, they're also anticipating 700,000 doses the last week of December as well. And then a lot more in January and February. So the IDPH from recommendations from the CDC have established phases for the distribution plan. And so phase 1A is underway right now. The first phase that of the folks that are going to be distributed are healthcare, hospital personnel, and long-term care residents. And additionally was added last week that paramedics and firefighters would be in that 1A distribution. I'm anticipating that most of the doses that they'll receive in December will go to that 1A, and that 1B will start sometime in mid-January. 1B is essential frontline workers in certain industries, including first responders. That'll be 1B. And 1C is adults with high-risk medical conditions and everybody over 65. Then they're going to get into phase 2. Phase 2 are going to be workers important to the functioning of society, and I anticipate that they'll follow the general directions on the essential employees that were decided early on in the pandemic in March and April about which industries stayed open. They have an ambitious timetable for this, and depending on the amount of vaccines approved and available, they're hoping to get into the general population vaccination protocols sometime in April, early May, and that'll be good news. Phase 3 are children if a pediatric vaccine is available by then, and young adults 18 to 30, and then phase 4 will be everybody who wasn't included in one of the earlier phases. So it's a pretty ambitious plan. The phases 1 and possibly 2 have already been decided upon. The distribution method and locations have been decided. We believe that the distribution process for phases beyond that are going to follow the typical flu distribution pattern, where you'll be able to go to pharmacies and clinics and those types of places. But that's still up in the air, and I think that some additional distribution locations may be selected to try to get the vaccine out faster. The plan will be up on our website tomorrow, and if anybody has any questions, I'll tell you what I know so far.
So Mark, it sounds like Pfizer's the one that is distributing first, right? They were approved first. And I believe both Moderna as well as Pfizer, they're both 2 vaccination shots, correct?
Correct. And there are some of the vaccines, the Johnson & Johnson one is submitted for approval, and shortly the AstraZeneca one. Some of those are 1 shot, and some of those don't need to be cold stored. And so, might be a little more flexible. The Pfizer vaccine, from the time it was shipped yesterday, has 5 days for injection. So this is already day 1. So all those have to be injected by Friday.
Great. Any other questions or comments for Chief regarding the vaccination? All right. Well, thanks again, Chief, for the update. Again, obviously good news. And just to put it in perspective, there's just under 13 million people in Illinois. So if your numbers are right, we'll make at least a big dent in it within the next several weeks. So again, good news on the horizon there. Any other staff reports?
Ralph had an item.
Ralph? Yeah, go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah, just really quick, Mayor. Thank you. I wanted to give a shout out to the Public Works Department, the people involved with the holiday decorations downtown, as well as Linda Molitor. It just looks fantastic. If you have not been down there, take a ride through. It truly is a little bit of cheer that I think that we all can use right now. So it looks great. Thank you to the people involved, and that's basically all I have tonight, sir.
Ralph, I second that. And then thanks to you as well and your team and Chief, thanks to your staff as well. Everyone does a great job here at the village. I get to work with everyone here more closely than probably several of you others, but it is very, very impressive. And again, looking forward to 2021. So thanks again, and definitely check out the lights. All right, moving on. Any other new business or unfinished business? George, you want to take over audience participation?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the time of the meeting where anybody who was hanging on there for the duration of the meeting can speak now. Just use the raise your hand method at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Hopefully everyone's a pro by now. I don't see too many from the public, but I'll leave it open for another minute or so here, a second or so. Let's see.
And again, if anyone has questions in advance, they could always email.
Yep,
correct?
I don't see anything. And and we will read it right into the record. If you have any questions prior to the next meeting, or feel free to hop on and you could participate. But I don't see anything here today, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
You can move on.
Thanks, George. Okay, no executive session tonight, correct?
We do not.
All right. So with that being said, again, want to wish everyone, again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, last meeting of the year. And as I always say this time of the year, see you next year. So need a motion to adjourn, please.
Okay, Snagowski?
Well, I'll make the motion.
Second and Maher.
All right.
Okay, all right. Roll call then.
Let's see. Okay. Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, motion approved. Good night, everyone.